Welcome to season 3.
Woo! We're back,
Woo-hoo!
bitches.
Pew, 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 pew. First of all, how have you been? We haven't
Oh
seen
my
each other. I
gosh.
mean, on TikTok, we've seen each other,
Yeah.
but like,
Yeah.
are you
No,
thriving? Are you
I'm
living your
I'm
best life?
doing the best I can do considering the status of America right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I
And
agree.
and you?
Also doing the best I can given
Mm-hmm.
the tomfoolery and fuckery
Mm-hmm.
happening in the
Mm-hmm.
country. Yeah, I'm surviving. I would say I'm also just doing too much.
Yeah.
I'm perpetually doing too much.
Yeah.
So
That's your whole vibe, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's my vibe.
Yeah. But I
That is my
missed
vibe.
this.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
Me too. And we're doing it now. Oh wait, I think I just got a glimpse of a new water tumbler. What's that there? Oh,
Oh.
look at us.
So fancy and so professional.
Oh my God. So for those of
Mhm.
you not watching on the YouTubes, Erica and I now have swag.
We
Okay.
do. Yeah.
We do. We have matching 2 queens, 2 crowns tumblers. So cute.
I feel like we're on
And
an infomercial right now.
I didn't do,
This is
do you see that?
QVC.
And fun fact, my husband bought these for us because he would watch and he was like, y'all are always sipping your water. He's like, so
Mhm.
you should have like branded water bottles. And I was like, now that is a good idea.
Yeah. Brilliant
Just some
idea.
good marketing right
I
there.
love it.
So look at us. I love
Heck
it too.
yeah. I'm into it.
Well, I'm very excited for season 3. We've got a lot
Me
in
too.
store. I think
Mhm.
it's going to be fun. It might be a little different, as you'll see even with this episode. And by the way, do you know who we're talking about?
Katy Perry.
Uh-huh.
I saw your TikTok video and I was like, I've been dying to talk about this.
Oh my
I
God.
cannot wait.
Literally
Mhm.
every video of her Lifetimes tour, every single one, I was just like, I have to talk about this with someone. I have to.
Oh my gosh.
And my husband has been on a TikTok break. He took like a 2-week TikTok hiatus. So
Uh-huh.
he's not even seeing these clips. I'm like, who
Oh
am I
my
supposed to talk to?
God.
And then I was like, oh, I know.
No, so I've only seen a handful of the clips and they are insane. Like it's giving mega church.
It is really and truly,
Mm.
it is such a sight to behold. But what you don't know is we're not just talking about Katy Perry, because this is, after all, 2 queens, 2 crowns.
Right. Who else are we talking about?
Katy Perry and Taylor Swift.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I will never pass up an opportunity to talk about Taylor Swift. So
Literally never.
Mhm.
Never,
Mhm.
never. It is funny though, because this makes this the 3rd season in a row where episode 1 has involved Taylor.
Oh, really?
Now it's just like, is it going to have to be this way for
Yeah.
every season opener
Honestly, I
until
think
the end of
so.
time?
It
I mean,
does.
she's built up enough like enemies, frenemies, like, or people who have been pitted against her. Like
Yeah.
that list is long, so she really
Because
could
I don't
be.
know about before when we weren't doing this together, if you ever talked about how the two of them had a feud.
No,
Okay.
never spoke about it.
Yeah.
And the reason so this isn't the episode that we were going to start season 1 with. I had a whole nother outline planned, but then not only do all of these Katy Perry clips fall into my lap, but the comment section, I don't know if you noticed this, but so many people in the comments kept comparing her Lifetimes tour to Era's, and not in a generous way,
No,
not
it's
in a very
giving
kind way.
copycat.
Yeah, people are saying all sorts of like, oh, it's the budget Era's tour.
Yeah.
Oh,
The error tour. I saw that a
right.
bunch.
Or like she copy pasted, just like not very nice things.
Yeah.
And I just feel like, again, you know me, when I see people always like quick to compare to different women, I'm like, sounds like an episode.
It does. Sounds like someone's calling our name.
That's exactly right. So here we are. And that's how we got to be in a place where we are talking about Taylor Swift for yet another season opener.
Yes. It never gets old.
It truly. Hello and welcome to 2 Queens, 2 Crowns. I'm your host, KJ Miller, founder, lecturer, and content creator.
And I'm Erica Manganelli, pop culture comedian and content creator.
And today on our season 3 opener, we are talking about Katy Perry and Taylor Swift because, I mean, the people were calling us.
They were. They were. Because Katy Perry went to space. So here we are. Because
what a
Katy
time
Perry's
it's
an
been.
astronaut.
Because
Because Katy Perry and Gail Kim became astronauts.
I literally okay.
Oh.
We only took like 6 weeks off. Somehow I feel like it's
Yeah.
been months
No, it feels like months.
because so much has happened. As you mentioned, Katy Perry became an astronaut. So
Yes.
she also embarked on this tour, which we will be speaking about at length, her
Yeah.
Lifetimes tour. And what's so funny is, season 2, we opened talking about Katy Perry and her album, which
Didn't
obviously
go well.
we didn't love. We
Mhm.
did not love it. And so it's
Mhm.
funny to be back in another season opening with her and Taylor, like who we also spoke about for our season opener last year. So
Mhm.
yeah, just what a time. What an
Yeah.
eventful time it's been.
Yeah, I agree. I cannot wait to unpack Katy Perry going to space. I've been dying to talk to just about anybody about it, especially you.
Yeah, I think it will certainly come up in this conversation.
Yeah.
I will say what I'm hoping to accomplish with this particular episode is, I think, a little bit different than prior episodes because, you know, like I said, everyone has been in the comment section of these Lifetimes clips comparing her and the tour to eras and comparing them in a very negative way, in a very like,
Mhm.
this is a mess, like you tried and failed, like blah blah blah. I've seen people do mashups of like just like Katie does something and then they'll show Taylor having done
Oh,
a
I haven't
similar
seen that
sort of
yet.
thing. Oh yes,
Oh,
okay.
you're gonna have to send me those vids.
And so it's a lot of like very just not very generous takes. And
Yeah.
here's my thing.
Mhm.
I do actually think there is a way to have a constructive conversation
Mhm.
about kind of a myriad of things that I think Katie could have learned or taken away from some of Taylor's career,
Mhm.
culminating in Eras Tour. Like, I actually
Mhm.
think there's a constructive way to talk about that without it
Mhm.
being like, oh, you dumb bitch, you're trying to be Taylor Swift and you're not,
Yeah, of course, of course. Yeah. I actually kind of think like here lately, a lot of people are taking a page out of Taylor Swift's book with the Eras Tour, where they're kind of like, yeah, I do want to showcase every album I ever had in one concert. Like that's like a thing now. She made it a
Hmm.
thing.
Hmm.
So like to
And
say Katy Perry's just copying her, it's like I think everybody's copying her.
well, and I think in
Mhm.
general, there's nothing wrong with when
Yeah.
someone does something well, there's nothing wrong with being inspired by that.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping that this conversation feels like it leans more in that vein because I
Mhm.
am, going to take us through a few things that I think, yeah, Katie maybe could have learned from Taylor,
Yeah.
including as it relates to this tour, because we simply have to talk about it.
Yeah.
But what I'm hoping it doesn't feel like is me contributing to the conversation of saying, like, why isn't Katie more like Taylor? Or like, why isn't Katie better like Taylor? Like, Taylor's so
Yeah.
much better than Katie, because that's actually not what I'm trying to say.
Right. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just think like when someone is doing something really well, when someone is really showcasing greatness, you should want to learn from them.
Yeah, of
And
course.
yeah, I think
Yeah,
there are
there's a
some
lot of Katy Perry
lessons.
hate. And like, yes, I don't think everything Katy Perry does is like the best, right? I mean, we talked about her album. It wasn't
Right.
the greatest
It
album, right?
wasn't
But
right.
but she has done in the past some great songs.
Hmm.
And also, I feel like there's so many things and people we could hate on right now that like the Katy Perry hate's like a little too strong. Like it's just a little
Exactly.
too much.
I don't know that
Mhm.
the punishment fits the crime. Like,
Totally.
the
Mhm.
crime is she has made a series of mediocre to terrible albums, and she's now embarking on an odd tour.
Yeah.
Yes, there's
Mhm.
plenty to talk about, and we will talk about it, but people are talking about it as if she's like
The
committed
worst.
murder.
Yes, yes. Yes, like, they're being so aggressive about hating her, like, it's, like, too
And
much.
there's no reason. There's
No.
no reason. So yeah, we're going to get into all of that, but before we dive into what I think she can be learning from Taylor, we do need to talk about their feud because like I don't
Yes,
know if
let's do it.
everyone's as familiar with what went on, and even I was familiar, but
I'm
like
not. I'm like I
oh,
know they
okay.
had a feud, and then I
Yes.
remember the making up portion of it, but I don't
Okay.
really remember how it started.
Okay, well, I'm
Mhm.
going to fill you in and I will tell you, even though I was paying attention at the time, so I knew about this
Mhm.
beef, I knew kind of what started it. I forgot how long it lasted,
Yeah, it lasted a while.
and it
Yeah.
lasted a while,
Yeah.
and I forgot how many like little twists and turns there were. So
Mhm.
we do need to talk about it because I,
Alright,
I
let's do
actually
it.
think it adds some color to the whole conversation.
Mhm.
So let's get into it. Starting in, we'll call it like 2008, 2009 time
Mhm.
frame,
Okay.
because that's when their relationship, as far as the public can see, that's when their relationship starts. And of
Mhm.
course, at this time, Taylor is on her second album,
Mhm.
and Katy has not yet released her second album.
Okay.
So they're both kind of newer on the scene, but they're also both like definitely gaining in popularity.
Mhm.
And at one point in 2009, Swift paid Perry a compliment on Twitter. So she tweeted, "Watching the Waking Up in Vegas video, I
Mhm.
love Katy Perry. I think I'm going to hang her poster on my wall now."
Oh, I love that.
Isn't that sweet? And
Yeah.
so then Katy responded, "You're as sweet as pie. Let's write a song together about the subject we know
Oh.
best, dot, 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 for my new record. It'll be brilliant." So
Men? What?
right. I'm assuming she means like breakups and
Right.
boyfriends, right?
Okay,
Because
okay. Space? I don't know.
not space.
She's like, "I'm about to become an astronaut in 15 years."
So let's sing about that. Yeah, exactly. No.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
that's at least to the public how these two kind of meet. And then from then until the fallout in 2014,
Mhm.
they're very friendly. So they're like, anytime it's one of their birthdays, they exchange birthday wishes on Twitter. And Katy even was brought out on Taylor Swift's Fearless tour, because you know she loved to
Oh, I
bring
didn't know
guests
that.
out and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
She brought out Katy Perry and they performed Hot and Cold together
Oh,
on her
okay,
tour.
cool.
Yes.
Oh, I like that.
So
This is like also when Twitter was like fun and friendly and like
I know
right? It's just
the
like such a
heyday.
throwback.
Oh my God. The heyday of Twitter
Mhm.
to me, 2008 to like 2011, 2012,
Oh,
that like
yeah.
4 year period. Oh, couldn't beat it.
So fun. Yeah.
Couldn't beat it. Because the other
Mhm.
thing about that period that made Twitter so great, I think we talked about this when we were talking about Gossip Girl, was like
Mhm.
that's when people were still watching shows live.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
people
yeah.
were live tweeting a lot of the things. So you had a
Yes.
lot of reason to all be on Twitter at the same time.
Yes, I loved that. I was all
Yeah.
in on that.
It was amazing.
Mhm.
It was an amazing time. So yes, they
Yeah.
would tweet each other, say happy birthday, blah, blah, blah. She brought her out on her tour. I think that was in
Mhm.
2010, I want to say. So they seem good.
Besties.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they seem, like they had a very good, very nice
Mhm.
relationship. Okay, well then, we get to 2014.
Okay. Okay,
We
I'm ready. We didn't even start yet.
right. You can already tell. Just the way I wound it up.
Yes.
You knew.
I knew it was because something good is coming.
Okay, so now
Okay.
we get to 2014.
Yes.
In September, Taylor releases the song Bad Blood, which of course
Mhm.
you recall
Right.
that song.
Okay, yeah.
And then she's doing an interview with Rolling Stone,
Mhm.
and the interviewer asks, like, who's the song about? And this is what Taylor says.
I didn't know this.
She basically says, it's not about an ex. It's not about a man at all. It's about a woman, and it's about business. So this is the quote. "For years, I was never sure if we were friends or not. She would come up to me at award shows and say something and walk away. And I would think, are we friends, or did she just give me the harshest insult of my life?" Swift explained to Rolling Stone that the artist, quote, "did something so horrible," and called her relationship with the unnamed singer akin to, quote, "straight up enemies." She added, "and
Oh,
it
wow.
wasn't even about a guy. It had to do with business. She basically tried to sabotage an entire arena tour. She tried to hire a bunch of people out from under me. And I'm surprisingly non-confrontational. You would not believe how much I hate conflict. So now I have to avoid her. It's awkward and I don't like it."
Oh, Oh, well, let me just add in that feels on brand for Katy Perry. That really does, because sometimes when she's talking and I see her interacting with people at award shows, it does feel like she's throwing shade at people and I can't tell if she's joking or not. So that kind of does seem like it would be about her.
Yeah, I do think that's interesting, and
Mhm.
I will say I can certainly relate to that type of person, like that
For
type of
sure.
girl who's sort of
Mhm.
like when she says something to you, it kind of is like a little
Yeah.
passive
And you're both, like,
aggressive, like
laughing, but then you walk away and you're like, "Should my feelings be hurt?"
right,
You know?
exactly. And also it's sort of like now it could be a Blake Lively situation
Mhm,
where she doesn't realize she's not as funny as she thinks she
mhm.
is.
Wait, if this was about Blake Lively, I would believe that too, because that's, like, the same vibe.
Yeah. So I
Mhm,
don't know, but anyway, that was what Taylor Swift explained, and
mhm.
very quickly people started speculating that this was about Katy Perry because, by the way, it wasn't that hard to figure out
Because she
because
had a stadium tour?
yeah,
Okay,
she had a
that's
tour,
what I thought
and
was gonna happen.
people were like, "Oh yes, these dancers who used to be on Taylor's tour are now on Katy Perry's tour." So
Okay, so
like
it's, like,
it
confirmed. It's, like,
right, people were
right,
like, "Okay, we've put two and two together." Okay, so Taylor does that interview. And then the next day, Katy Perry tweets, "Watch out for the Regina George in sheep's clothing."
no way.
Mhm.
Okay, so this changes Bad Blood for me like crazy. Like, I had no idea. I never heard this at all.
You didn't know it was about Katy Perry?
No, I had no idea. I had
Oh,
no idea.
see, and I did know, and at this time I was not a Taylor Swift fan, and I don't
Mhm.
remember I didn't dislike the song, but, and I didn't care that much about it, but all I knew was like, "Oh, this is her really coming for Katy Perry." So that made it interesting to me because I was like,
Oh,
"Ooh,
okay,
tea?"
okay. I don't know how I
Yeah.
never heard this. It's also giving like a little bit of like a Chrissy Teigen like type tweet. It's like,
Oh, like a
you
little
know,
yeah,
little
shady.
mean girl
Mhm,
tweet. Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, so
Mhm.
we find out, like I said, like people speculate that it's because of the backup dancers, and then they realize like, okay, it definitely is because
Mhm.
of the backup dancers. And so then over the next few years, like literally over the next 3 years or so, it keeps coming back up, okay?
Mhm.
First, in July of 2015, 'cause so remember, all this kicked off at the end of 2014 with the Bad
Mhm.
Blood coming out in the fall.
Mhm.
Okay, then July 2015,
Mhm.
Nicki Minaj is not nominated for video of the year at the
Mhm.
VMAs.
Yeah, that
And I
was a
don't know
big
if you
deal.
remember this, but she tweeted out saying, "If your video celebrates women with very slim bodies, you will be nominated for video of the year."
I remember that.
And Taylor basically took that as a jab at her
Yeah.
and the other nominees.
Mhm.
So then Taylor responded, "I've done nothing but love and support you. It's unlike you to pit women against each other. Maybe one of the men took your slot."
Ooh. Ooh, okay.
Right.
And
Taylor was spicy.
also so bold of her to go after Nicki Minaj because Nicki Minaj scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, I agree. I'm like, oh, Taylor was feeling herself because
Yeah.
it wouldn't have been me going after
And that's coming from someone who's never met that bitch. Like,
Yeah.
I'm scared of her.
It would not be me.
Yeah.
But so she says that Taylor says that it's not like you to pit women against each other. The
Mhm.
next day, Katy Perry chimed in on Twitter saying, finding it ironic to parade the pit women against other women argument about as one unmeasurably capitalizes on the takedown of a woman.
Okay. Now they're ganging up. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm like, when I'm reading all this for my outline, I'm like forgetting like, oh, this went deep. Like they were
Yeah.
talking about this for a long time. Okay. So
Okay.
that's
Mhm.
July 2015. Then in October 2015,
Mhm.
Taylor's doing another interview with GQ, and the reporter basically says, even though she doesn't name people explicitly in her songs, Swift does allow the public to decide who she's targeting.
Mhm.
And Taylor responds, "Well, you're in a Rolling Stone interview and the writer says, 'Who is that song about?' That sounds like a really intense moment from your life." And you sit there and you know you're on good terms with your ex-boyfriend and you don't want him or his family to think you're firing shots at him. So you say that was about losing a friend. And that's basically all you say. But then people cryptically tweet about what you meant. I never said anything that would point a finger in the specific direction of one specific person. And I can sleep at night knowing that. I knew the song would be assigned to a person, and the easiest mark was someone who I didn't want to be labeled with this song. It was not a song about heartbreak. It was about the loss of a friendship.
Oh, wow. Okay. She does this a lot in interviews, actually. Yeah.
Like what do you mean?
Like where she'll like almost like drop a little piece of lore, but like she'll never name who it's about, and then everyone just feasts on it. She still does that, I feel like, to this day. Even though I haven't seen her in a recent interview in a while, but
well, but you know what she also does? She names people now, because in
Yeah.
her time interview, she said Kim K as clear as day.
Yeah. Well, Kim K is a unique fight that she's in, right? Because I think that she's gonna hate her forever.
Oh, yes.
Like
She
that's
has
when
made
she's
it
gonna hate
clear
her forever. Yeah.
she will hate that woman until the day she dies. She will never let go, never let up. I mean, not only did she name check her in Time magazine while getting Time Person of the Year, but then she name checked her on her album in Thank You Amy by capitalizing KIM.
Wait, I'm obsessed with that song because of that, by the way. But I don't know, if I was like Katy Perry in this scenario, I don't know that I'd want to make up. If I found out Bad Blood might have been about me, and then we're in this giant feud and we're going back and forth on Twitter, and then she becomes like the biggest pop star in the world, and then the Eras tour happens, I don't know that I'd ever be able to let that go. But that's the tourist in me. I'd be like holding on to that shit forever.
Well, okay. So let me continue with our timeline.
Yeah,
here,
let's go. Yeah.
because I feel like it adds more color. So, okay, then we get to the next year. Now we're in July 2016. Okay, so we are 2 years out from this, from Bad Blood dropping and all of this kicking off. And Taylor at this point breaks up with Calvin Harris, who she had been dating.
Right.
And he basically has a meltdown on Twitter. Do you remember this meltdown?
Yeah, we do. He freaks out.
Sir, it was very like, sir, get it together. Because I guess at the time, her team, someone released the fact that she had ghost written the song "This Is What You Came For" for Rihanna. And he had a meltdown because he felt like the reason her team released it at that time was to make him look bad.
Yeah, take away from his song.
Take away from him.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And he's in his feelings, like blah 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 and blah, blah, blah. He's saying a whole bunch of bullshit. And one of the things he says is, he says, hurtful to me at this point that her and her team would go so far out of their way to try and make me look bad at this stage, though. I figure if you're happy in your new relationship, you should focus on that instead of trying to tear your ex-boyfriend down for something to do. I know you're off tour and you need someone new to try and bury like Katy, but I'm not that guy. Sorry.
I remember that. Yeah,
I won't allow it. So now he's digging it back up, right? Yeah. It's been a year.
Like, you told me about that feud, bitch. And now I'm going to air it out.
Exactly. And that's how everyone takes it, because everyone's like, oh, well, he was in the mix for the last year or whatever. So he would know if they're, what the real Bad Blood was. And so this is him spilling the tea and being like, yeah, you purposefully tried to bury Katy Perry.
Right.
And later that year, when a user tweeted at Katy Perry saying, will you ever collab with Taylor Swift? She responded, if she says sorry, sure.
Okay, so we got lots of confirmation. This is not like a speculative thing.
100%. We have a lot of confirmation, because then 1 month after saying that she needed to say sorry to her, Katy Perry is celebrating her 32nd birthday. And see, and I didn't even know about this. This is October 2016, mind you. So this is while Taylor is in the thick of all that nonsense with Kanye West over his song Famous.
Right, with the bed thing, yep.
And Katy Perry records herself dancing at a Kanye West concert to his song Famous. And she specifically posts the part of the song with the lyric, I feel like me and Taylor might still have sex, why I made that bitch famous. She specifically posts that part.
This is the kind of shit that makes people hate her, by the way.
I had no idea the beef
I didn't know
ran
any. Yeah, I didn't
that
know any of
deep.
that.
I had not caught that.
And
So
so bold. We're taking Kanye's side. I mean, I know now
yeah,
he's like even crazier than he was, but
right, right, yeah,
Kanye's side.
very bold,
Okay.
very bold.
That's
So,
he was with Kim during that time,
yeah, he
right?
was
So
with Kim.
everybody's kissing Kim's ass at that point because
Hmm.
everyone wants to be Kim, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then we get to the next year. Now it's May 2017. So we're almost 3 years into this beef. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's May 2017, and Katy releases her album Witness,
Okay.
and it includes the song Swish Swish. Do you remember that song?
No. Wait, I
Oh,
feel like I might, but I'm not sure. No, I don't
it
think so.
is. No, it's not a good song, but it's largely
That's why I don't know it. I only know the hits that were on the radio.
exactly. And this was
Mm,
barely on the radio. Okay,
mm,
barely. The best part of the
mm.
song is Nicki Minaj is on it.
Oh no.
And
Oh,
her verse is pretty good, but
it's
the rest
probably
of the
the
song is
best.
not.
It's probably
Yeah.
the best part. I'm
Yes,
sorry for
100%.
saying that.
100%. So, but it's widely
Mhm.
regarded as a diss track. So we're gonna listen to a little
Oh,
bit
we
of it
have to.
just so you,
We have to. I'm dying here.
just so you can hear it and remind
Mhm.
yourself. Because honestly, yeah, you wouldn't know it. You just
I can't wait to see if I remember it. Oh my gosh. Okay. That's wait, I know the Nicki Minaj verse and I don't know
yeah,
that song.
I know, because the verse is a catchy verse,
Yeah.
and the rest of the song. I mean, these
No, that song
lyrics.
was so embarrassing.
A tiger don't lose no sleep, don't need opinions from a shellfish or a sheep.
I don't get it.
Ma'am.
Wait, but this is 10 times more embarrassing because now Taylor Swift's like the biggest star ever.
It's very embarrassing. This song, oh dear.
I would literally wipe that from the internet if I were her.
Yeah,
That's
it's very
oh,
embarrassing. So,
oh my
but
gosh.
the point is,
Mm-mm.
because of these lyrics, people interpret this to be about Taylor.
Mhm.
And again, now we're in 2017. So we're almost 3 full years into this beef.
Oh Lord.
And it doesn't end there because
Of course it doesn't.
while promoting the tour, Katy actually mentions Taylor and by name multiple times while she's promoting Witness, this album.
Okay.
So she goes on to James Corden's show, The Late Late Show,
Mhm.
and he asks her, is there still beef with Taylor?
Okay.
And she says, that's true. There is a situation. Honestly, it's really like she started it and it's time for her to finish it. So during the segment, she then goes on to basically confirm the root cause of the whole thing. So she says, okay, so there was like these 3 backing dancers that went on tour with her tour, right? And they asked me before they went on tour if they could go. And I was like, yeah, of course. I'm not on a record cycle and I get the work and she's great and all of that. But I will be on a record cycle probably in about a year. So be sure to put a 30-day contingency in your contract so you can get out of it if you want to join me when I say I'm going back on. So then the year came up and I texted all of them because I'm very close with them. And I said, look, just FYI, I'm about to start. I want to put the word out there. They said, okay, well, we're going to go and talk to management about it. And they did, and they got fired. So
Okay. Yeah.
that's her side of the story.
It's a little shady.
This is the thing. I feel like the way she tells the story, she's very clearly trying to make it clear that like these dancers danced for her first,
First,
right?
yeah. Mhm.
Then asked her if it'd be okay for them to go on Taylor's tour.
Mhm.
And Katy told them, like, basically, I feel like Katy was trying to make it seem like, look, we did everything above board. We did everything above board because, like, I told them, go, she's great, have fun, but get a 30-day contingency just in case I go on tour. Then I did go on tour, and then they were still doing everything above board because they went and talked to management. And here's the thing.
Mm.
I can see Katy's side, but
Mhm.
I think any artist would be upset
Yeah.
by that.
No,
You're in
I
the
would be
middle
so
of a
pissed.
tour.
You're texting my dancers?
Yeah, and you
You're
know
you're
they're on
telling
tour.
them like to give a 30-day contingency. It just feels fucked up.
It feels kind of fucked up. It really does. And I
Mhm.
think any artist would feel like if I'm in the middle of a world tour, a stadium
Mhm.
tour, and I'm giving it my all, and 3 of my dancers, because it's not like Taylor goes out with a team of 80 dancers each night.
No.
On her tours, it's usually like maybe 15 folks tops. So 3
Mhm.
people you're going to notice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
No, of course.
and
Mhm.
so, yeah, I could definitely understand Taylor being upset by that. I get what Katie's saying. Do I think it's
Mhm.
worth a necessarily 3-year feud? Maybe not, but like
No.
I get why Taylor was upset. Like I get
Yeah.
why
No, I
it
get
makes
why she
sense.
was upset. And then also I'm thinking on like Katy Perry's end, it's like, well, if you're gonna let them go, you kind of gotta let them finish out the tour and then you just get new people, right? Like it's fucked up to go and call them back.
I think I agree. I mean, unless that's just how things typically
Yeah,
work,
maybe.
but
I don't know. I'm not a backup dancer. We should ask
right,
Cam Sanders.
yeah, let's ask Katie
Uh,
Sanders.
yeah.
I don't know exactly how those things work, but yeah, I
Mhm.
do feel like that's kind of fucked up. If you know they're currently on tour for someone,
Mhm.
especially someone who you've been friends with, you've been cool with, like why would you go through them and not go through Taylor?
Yeah, right. Like you would also think like your managements would talk, not like you texting them directly. That seems
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, because
And
then
then
that
also like
is
so you can get out of it lines feels weird. It's like,
yeah. Then it
mm,
does feel like you're trying to take them from under her because
right.
if it were all above board, y'all know each other. You could have texted Taylor. You could have
True.
said,
I didn't even think about that. They're
you could have
supposedly
actually
friends.
even texted Taylor before
Mhm.
the tour began and said, like, hey, just so you know, these 3 dancers were on my last tour. Like, I
Mhm.
love them. They're very close to me. I want them to be successful. For
100%.
you, do you ever work it so that people can like do the first half of your tour, but then like sub out? Like, I just feel like that would have been
100%.
the actual above board thing to do.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah. So
Yeah. It makes me think there's room there that it could have been a shady situation. That
yeah,
she's
I
like
think
smoothing over to make us think it's not.
I just
Mhm.
think, yeah, I could definitely understand in Taylor's shoes why she would be
Mhm.
upset. So she says all this in 2017 while
Mhm.
she's on the James Corden show. Katy Perry says all
Mhm.
this.
'Kay.
And like I said, throughout her press tour for Witness, she
Mhm.
mentions this multiple times. Like she's clearly using it to, I think she's,
Yeah.
I will
A
say
little
this.
clout chasey.
Well, and remember at
Mm.
this time,
Mhm.
Taylor is basically going through all the public backlash over the Kim and Kanye stuff because Kim
Right.
has released that video. It's the
Mhm.
cancel Taylor Swift party. So
Yeah.
all of that is
Pile
going
on.
on in the background. So I think Katy Perry is kind of capitalizing on that
Mhm.
and continuing to sort of kind of drag this feud because we're, as I said,
Mhm.
in year 3 now. Like, to popularize or promote her album. It does seem that
Mhm.
way to me, at least.
Yeah. No, it seems that way to me too, and it feels shady.
Yeah,
Mhm.
feels a little shady. But we finally get to May 2018. Okay,
Mhm.
so the following year, about a
Mhm.
year after Katie released Witness, and she Taylor is about to go on Reputation tour.
'Kay.
And Katie sends her an actual olive branch and like a note saying like, hey, old
Mhm.
friend, like, let's
Yeah,
make up.
and now I'm like, "Why?"
I want to know why too,
There must
because
have been a reason. There's
that is not clear at all. No one there in my little
Mhm.
research, there's no like, oh, and then time passed and Taylor
Right.
decided and they had a phone call. No, it's just like out the blue, Katie sent her this olive branch.
And then also, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't that posted on social media? Because I remember that. Didn't
It
Taylor
was.
post it on social media or something?
Yes,
Okay.
it was. It was
Mhm.
very much posted on Instagram. And then
Mm.
so then that was it and the beef was squashed.
Hmm. Okay, and then, was there something involving Katy Perry in the hamburger suit? Did they, like, meet up at was that the first time they re I don't
Yes.
vaguely remember that.
Yes, thank you for reminding me. So she
Mm.
sends the olive branch in May 2018. Then later in 2019, Katie
Mhm.
appears in Taylor's music video for You Need to Calm Down. And yes, Katie's in a hamburger suit
Okay,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Taylor's in a French fry suit. So it's like,
Okay, okay, I remember that now. I
yeah,
was like,
they're
I thought there was a
very,
music video thing.
yeah, and there's a photo of them on Instagram, like hugging in their little costumes, like,
Mhm.
all water under the bridge at this point. Everything's cool.
But it also was kind of giving like, you got really popular and everyone really likes you now. So Olive Branch? I don't like it. Okay. But what do I know?
Well, it could definitely be that. It could also be, this is how Taylor put it. She said in an interview later when asked, like, how did you guys get to make up? She said, time, maturity, and mutual respect help them repair the relationship.
I mean,
So
yeah, I could see you just getting older.
Yeah, it
And
could
being
have
like,
been
"That's stupid."
yeah, it could have been very genuine. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? I agree. Does it seem a little fishy? Maybe.
Yeah, it does.
But maybe it was all very genuine.
Totally.
Yeah, could have been. Okay, so that's the feud. And it did feel important to just kind of rewind and kind of get us back in the space of sort of where they used to be. But with all of that said, they move on, they make amends, blobbity, blobbity, blobbity. What I think is even more interesting than the feud is the fact that there are, at least in my opinion, a lot of parallels between their careers and how they then reacted to those parallels and approached those parallels because it was very different. That to me is actually even more interesting than the feud.
Hit me with an example.
Okay. So to me, I think the biggest parallel between these two is that they both rose to really, really intense success with their second albums. Okay. So Katy Perry's second album was Teenage Dream, which, as a reminder, as we spoke about on that one episode, that album had 5 number one singles. Literally the only other album to ever do that in history up to that point was Michael Jackson's Bad. Wow. So she was literally tying records with Michael Jackson.
Yeah. And it still holds.
Still holds. And then Taylor's second album was Fearless, which made her, I believe, the youngest artist to win Album of the Year at the Grammys. Okay. Right? So they both, with their second albums, just sort of like launched into very, very big, very, very mainstream success, right?
Is Katy Perry older than her?
Yes.
Okay. Significantly, or
well, I don't know that I'd say. I don't know that I think Katy Perry is more Beyonce's age, but let's confirm.
Okay,
Taylor just turned 35, right? Taylor's 35. So. Taylor Swift age, yeah. Taylor is 35. I think Katy Perry's maybe like 42. Let me see.
Okay.
No, Katy Perry's 40, so she's 5 years older.
Okay, so that's not a lot.
Yeah, not a lot, not too much. So that's number one parallels. I think they both second album, boom, kind of catapults them. After that, they both go on to release albums that are, I would say, well received by fans, but don't reach the same fever pitch with critics. Right. So for Katy Perry, her next album is Prism, and it had a couple hits, like it had Dark Horse, it had Roar, but it definitely doesn't reach the same level as Teenage Dream. Yeah. Similarly for Taylor, she releases Speak Now. Right. And, I think her fans loved that album, but it doesn't get the same level of critical acclaim as Fearless. Okay.
Right.
All right. So that's parallel number 2.
That's close.
Then they both, after that album, would go on to take pretty sharp turns with their music, okay? Yeah. Because Taylor, after Speak Now, of course, she gives us Red. Red is her leaning a bit more heavily into pop, but then she gives us 1989, where she's just like full on pop, like that's it, that's all. She like turns the page completely, right? Yep. And of course, that album is just epically successful.
So good. Yeah.
Epically successful. She becomes, I think, the only woman to win Album of the Year twice. Okay. With that album. Multiple songs from the album go to number 1, including Bad Blood, which is notable. Yeah. And I would argue that album,
that song is everywhere all the time.
That song is everywhere. Blank Space is everywhere, and Shake It Off is everywhere. You cannot escape those songs. Okay.
You can't.
And I would argue, to me, 1989 put Taylor into a different level of fame.
For sure.
I really think it does. And this is why. because this is the album that I think really like put her on the map for the Black community.
Okay.
I can't speak for everybody, but I can say.
Are you sure?
Right. I cannot speak for all Black people.
I definitely cannot. Like, I'm not even going to try to.
Erica, do you agree that this is the album that put her on the map for the Black community?
Full on fucking canceled after this. I will not speak for the Black community. Oh shit.
Well, this is why I say that. Okay.
Yes.
Now, like I can't speak for everybody.
Explain it to me like I'm white.
This is how I feel. We knew, and by we, I'm talking about Black people. We knew who Taylor Swift was because of the incident with Kanye, where he interrupted her at the VMAs. Like everybody after that moment knew who she was, but we were not really listening to her like that. On the whole, we weren't checking for her. I think you would have been hard pressed to find a Black person who could name more than like one or two Taylor Swift songs. Like, But then this album, when I tell you,
but wait, did the Black community side with him on that?
Yeah, largely.
Okay. I'm not sure because I wasn't part of the community, so I wasn't sure.
This is before we all collectively canceled Kanye.
Which I can see because he was also like defending Beyonce and like
exactly.
We know.
Right. So, but at this moment with 1989, I mean, you could not hear "Shake It Off."
Yeah, no way.
It was too damn catchy to pretend like it wasn't a bop.
Right.
It just was too damn catchy. It was. And same for Blank Space. I actually think Blank Space was a bigger hit within the Black community than Shake It Off. Like Shake It Off was unavoidable, but Blank Space was like undeniable.
Everybody loves Blank Space. Yeah.
That was a bop. And so that's why, to me, I feel like this put Taylor in another stratosphere of fame, because all of a sudden Black people were like, now hold on a minute. So that to me is what happened for Taylor when she decided to flip the script and say like, boom, bing, bop, boom, bang, bam.
Yeah.
I'm going to go full pop. Katy, on the other hand, when she decided to flip the script, she gave us Witness. Witness is the album that had that song we just listened to, Swish, Swish.
I fear I don't know a single song on it, unfortunately.
No.
That's where we started to.
That's where things start to take a turn. Now, the way she speaks about this album, I think, is part of what makes this album really become a flop, is how she speaks about it and how she markets it. Because at the Grammys, before the album drops, she says, "This is definitely a new era for me," and she characterized it as an era of purposeful pop. Okay, so people are already like, now what exactly does that mean?
Yeah. And
then when people listen to it, people are listening and critics are basically saying, that's not what it's giving. So this is a quote from a 2017 Vox article.
Oh, I'm scared.
They say, at the Washington Post, Chris Richards said of Witness, "Perry sounds like she's trapped in purgatory, pantomiming progress, giving an endless pep talk to her own reflection."
Oh, shit.
Rolling Stone wrote that the album causes her to blend in with everyone else on the radio. As Lindsay Zolads wrote for The Ringer, Perry has been faltering so publicly that she's become an object of morbid fascination.
Okay. What year was this?
This is 2017.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, this is 2017. And so
does she write her own songs? Is that an insulting question?
No, she does.
Okay.
Katy does write her own songs. Now, the extent of how much she's writing, I don't know, because her songs have a lot of writers, but she is credited for most as a writer on most of them.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this before, where like the lyrics are kind of like superficial.
And then later in the Vox article, they say, the publicity around Witness positioned it as a political album in an era when everything is politicized, and suggested a kind of radicalism that's frankly missing on the album. This disconnect between Perry's perception of her career and album, or at least how she chose to hype them, and those of fans and critics, seems to be at the root of the Perry backlash. Katy Perry proclaimed herself a warrior for political change and purposeful social action, but then didn't deliver on that.
Ooh, I actually agree with that take more than all of them. Like, that's the take.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's still.
Yeah, I agree because
Mhm.
I was reading a couple other articles during this time. Wow, after she released this album, she changed her Twitter bio to say activist. But man, what were you an activist of? I
I
can't
don't
name
I
I
was about
can't
to say
name
that.
one cause.
Not one cause.
Not one cause.
No, it's giving I went to space in a time when I shouldn't gone to space.
It is very much giving I went to space one time and now I'm an astronaut. Because ma'am, did you go to a single protest and now you're calling yourself an activist? That's not how that works.
I don't even know if I saw her at one ever.
I don't
Okay.
either. So she
Okay.
changed, right. She was just changing her bio to activist. She was talking about this is purposeful pop.
Mm.
And she said, like, her song, which we're going to listen to, the lead single on that album was called Chain Me to the Rhythm. And as she was promoting the song, she kept talking about how, like, there's actually like a deeper political meaning if you just listen. But people are
Okay.
listening and they're like,
If you just
no.
listen to
What? Like, people are like, but there's nothing, you're not saying anything specific. So how is it
That's
political?
how I always feel about her songs lately, though. It's like there's no substance there.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. If you
Yeah.
I love, like, I don't know, what was that one song where she just kept saying the same thing over and over again? Like, it was like a definition.
Yeah, it's very confusing. I actually don't remember how this song goes. Oh, it's called Chained to the Rhythm, not Chain Me to the
Okay.
Rhythm.
I feel like I remember that song.
I definitely do not. It's possible we listened to it on the last episode.
Oh, maybe that's why I
still don't remember. It is very possible we already did this, and I'm like, never heard it in my life. Couldn't tell you a thing.
Shit. Okay. First of all, I feel like that was a song for more like this year. It was like for the year
but
she
remember,
did.
she did release it right after Trump got elected for the first time.
Oh, okay. So that,
it's 2017.
okay.
So.
But then also it's like, and just ignore what's going on because we have privilege and dance. Like, that's what it's giving.
Well, but see, I think it's, well, okay, that's what's giving to you. To me, it's giving, it does sound like she's trying to be a bit deeper, but it's just falling very flat.
Yeah.
Very flat because, again, to
It's
a
out of
point you
touch.
made, the lyrics everything feels vague when it comes to Katy Perry. And this is one critique of her that I have, and one of the things that I think she definitely can learn from Taylor is the importance of specificity. Right? Like, when you are specific in your lyrics, it allows people to kind of have a channel into what it is you're talking about and to relate more deeply to what it is you're talking about. Even if I haven't been in that exact specific stance, it's almost like your specificity allows me to think back to like an interesting or parallel moment for me, right? Like, and I just feel like so much of Katy Perry's music lacks that. Like, that song, I have to tell you, I hated that song. I hated it. Like,
it's just not good.
It's
giving
not
mass
good.
production for radio.
And it's giving
club music.
It's giving like, it almost feels like someone was like, okay, we want to write a song that matters. We want to write a song that's like about this moment, but we don't want to say anything specific.
Yeah, to piss anyone off. Like,
right. Like, the lyrics are we crazy, living our lives through a lens, trapped in our white picket fence like ornaments, so comfortable, we're living in a bubble, so comfortable, we cannot see the trouble. Okay, but like, what trouble are you referring to? Right?
Yeah.
Like, what's so crazy in our lives?
Be specific.
What is this bubble? You know, like, it
and
feels...
who's living in it? Just you rich people in LA?
Yeah.
The rest of us are like, know what's going on.
Is this a song about how out of touch wealthy celebrities are?
Yeah.
Is this a song about how all of us politically are not paying enough attention to what's happening in the world? Is this a song about climate change? Like, I don't know, because you haven't made it clear like what it's about.
Totally.
And I think that is very much one of my biggest critiques of Katy Perry is like, specificity helps. Like even a song
Mm.
like Teenage Dream, which is, yes, it's some would call it a vapid pop song, but she actually paints a very vivid picture in that song of a specific time of like being a teenager and being in
Mhm.
love, and like how all encompassing that feels. Like
Mhm.
she knows how to do it.
No, she does, yeah.
So it's just kind of maddening to me when she doesn't do it.
Yeah, and if she was more specific, that song would've went, like, crazy viral considering the time that we were in.
Right, because it had a
Mhm.
nice beat.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
blanking on
it
who
did
it
have a
samples,
nice
but like
beat.
that dun
Yeah.
dun bum 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 ba dum bum 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 ba dum bum. It's sampling whatever that song is. Dun dun
Yeah.
gone again. Anyway, the point is, it's a good
It's a
sample.
bop. Yeah, yeah,
It's
that part of
yeah,
it. It's the
but
lyrics that flopped.
then the
Mhm.
lyrics, yeah, like completely let you down. So okay, so she releases Witness. That is
Mhm.
the third parallel in my mind. Both of them
Mhm.
kind of like decide, okay, I'm going to do something completely different.
Right.
Obviously, very successful for Taylor, not
Mhm.
super successful for Katy.
Mhm.
And then we get to their flop eras. And this is the other
Mhm.
thing that I am going to say they have in common. I think both of them have flop eras,
Oh, yeah.
just on
Mhm.
very different scales, very,
Right.
very different scales,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So for Katy, I mean, her flop era is basically like Witness doesn't hit, it's a flop. Then she releases Smile in 2020, it's a flop.
Yeah.
Then most recently, 143 is a flop,
Yeah.
right? None of
Mhm.
these albums are hitting. None of them are getting, I think, to number one. Actually, that's not true. I think they do go to number one, but like nowhere near the level of
Yeah,
success
briefly.
of her prior albums. Yeah, briefly at
'Cause
number
she's
one,
she's got fans.
no
Mhm.
critical acclaim. Yeah, she definitely
Mhm.
has fans,
Mhm.
almost no critical acclaim. And so she enters a flop era that she kind of can't find her way out of.
Mhm.
Where Taylor, she enters a flop era, and I am using that term very loosely here because at
Because
no
it's
point
not as much
does
of a flop.
no,
Yeah.
at no point does Taylor lose her commercial success,
Yeah,
right?
no.
However, when she goes through the backlash that she experienced because of Kim and Kanye,
Mhm.
and everyone's doing the cancel Taylor Swift party, and she goes
Mhm.
into hiding, and then gives us Reputation, which I maintain is still one of her
The
best albums.
best, yeah.
It does not get the critical acclaim that 1989 had just gotten. It gets
Mhm.
0 Grammy nominations.
Mhm.
She, at least if we're to tell from her documentary, is, pretty
Bummed.
devastated by that,
Mhm.
pretty bummed by that. And I actually think, to me, the flop era of it for Taylor, and I know this is going to make some Swifties mad, but I gotta stand in my truth,
Okay.
which is,
Mm.
I think Lover, which is the album she gives us after Reputation, I continue
Mhm.
to think it is her weakest album. I continue
Mhm.
to think it is her least cohesive album. Not
Mhm.
because it doesn't have some great bops. Obviously, it does. She's a great
Yeah,
songwriter,
right.
but I don't think it's cohesive. And I think it's because she got too in her head about Reputation not getting the critical acclaim that I personally think it deserved. Okay.
Yeah, it
I think it
did.
deserved way more
Mhm.
critical acclaim than it got, but she didn't get it. And I think that she let that go to her head, and as a result gave us an album that to me was just,
Just whatever.
it wasn't her
Mm,
best. It wasn't her
yeah.
best. In fact, I think it was her weakest. And so that to me was more of the flop era. Like,
She's second guessing
Lover,
herself.
it was second guessing. I just don't feel like it
Mhm.
was all in. I feel like it was all over the place.
Mhm.
To me, that was her flop era. Meanwhile, Katy enters her flop era with Witness. But
Mhm.
what do they both do afterwards? Taylor
Mhm.
buckles down. It's the pandemic. She buckles down, hides out, and says,
Fuels it.
let
Mhm.
me use this as fuel to just do what I want to do. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I've tried doing what other people want to do. I've tried going back to super commercial, bright, fun pop. Let me
Mhm.
just sit in my little bedroom with
Do
my
what I
headphones and
want.
my cats
Mhm.
and write these songs. And she gives us Folklore, which I maintain is
So good.
her best album.
Mhm.
Okay. So that's what she does with that energy. Like, she
Mhm.
goes from a flop to the top. Okay.
Mhm.
Folklore again wins album of the year.
Mhm.
It, to me, I mean, it gives us a whole new era.
Mhm.
I just feel like really re-sparked her creative juices and allowed her to be on the journey she is on
Mhm.
now. Meanwhile, Katy.
She hung out with Orlando for the pandemic. They
And
baked sourdough bread.
do you know what else she did? And this is, I think, a big difference and another key
Oh
thing I
no,
think she can
what?
learn from Taylor. Well, if you listen to the album she gives us after Witness, it's Smile.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it sounds like she was trying to go back in time. Like go back in time
Teenage
to
Dream.
Teenage Dream, Prism. Like it felt like she was trying to go back in time because Witness didn't work out. She was like, oh, I took this sharp turn. I tried to be more serious. I tried to be more political. It didn't work. Everybody hated it.
Gonna go back to what works.
Now let me rewind. And I think where Taylor said, no, I can't go backwards. All I can do is keep pushing forwards.
Yeah.
Katy did the opposite. That's what it feels like to me when you listen to that album.
Yeah. And I feel like that's also with Woman's World. Like it was like giving, I'm trying to do another Teenage Dream. And I think it would have hit a little better if that dude, Dr. Luke, wasn't on there. I think that really that was a damaging situation because Women's World, I think, would have been a bigger hit.
And I don't know if it would have, but I do think people would have been less mad at her.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
way less backlash.
Way less backlash. And again, that to me, that was her trying to reach back because she had worked with him before, had a hit with him before. And it's almost like the thing I think she really can learn from Taylor is this idea of pushing forward, right? Like, and not letting a flop stop you.
Yeah.
Not letting that be the thing that convinces you, oh, now I need to go back and do this other thing that I already did before so I can chase that high of, the high that I had before. It's like, no, I got to keep it pushing, keep it moving.
Yeah.
And it almost feels like that's what we haven't seen from Katy.
Yeah. I feel like she needs to focus more about making music for herself and like things that are meaningful to her and stop worrying about like, is this going to be a number one hit? And that would like benefit her so much more.
I agree. And I also think, again, to what I feel like Katy can learn from Taylor on that is I do feel like Taylor gives us so much vulnerability. And we spoke about this on the Katy Perry episode. It feels like you get, along with not getting specifics, you also don't get vulnerability.
No, you don't.
I mean, she literally was married to Russell Brand and he divorced her in a text message while she was on tour. Where's that?
Yeah,
album?
we've talked about this before because that needs to just be like a whole album about him.
A whole album. Ma'am, it could literally be a whole album. Not only did he divorce you over text message while you were on a world tour, it later came out that he is accused of sexual assault and now he's some mega Christian Trump supporter.
Yeah, which I was going to ask, is she conservative?
I don't think so.
Okay, because I was going to say that could explain some things, like where she just doesn't want the backlash from maybe like her people.
Maybe, but
because go in on him. Like right now's the perfect time.
Now's the perfect time. And again, we're not getting any of that. So we're not getting specificity. We're not getting vulnerability. We're not getting innovation. All of these are things that I think Taylor has done so well. And again, I don't think there's anything wrong with looking to someone who's doing these things really well and asking yourself, what can I glean from this? Like, I think that is what smart people do. They look around and see like, who's doing it well? What can I learn?
Or if you guys are friends, maybe a conversation about it. Like,
right.
What could you teach me?
Yeah. I just really wish we were getting that from Katy. I really do, because I continue to think it could be in there somewhere. The talent could still be there.
Yeah.
It might be a long time since we've seen a full glimpse of it, but actually the VMA performance was fantastic.
It was great. It was great. So I don't get it.
I don't get it.
And then going to space and not singing Woman's World while you were up there. I mean, there were like 5 hits that she could have sang of her own in that spaceship, and she chose What a Wonderful World.
Yeah.
Girl.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because now we do need to talk about this tour finally. I know we're like 8 hours into this podcast, but
it's been a while. We need to unpack.
We do now need to talk about this tour. So, okay, tell me what have you seen from the tour? Like, what have you seen?
I'm gonna start laughing before I even get the words out. I saw a video of her like spinning. Like spinning like an acrobat, like Cirque du Soleil. I'm like, what? And a lot of stunts like that. I think I even saw something with maybe flames. Like,
Yes, she had a
was it fire
flamethrower.
stuff? Okay.
She had a flamethrower.
It's like Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. I want us to watch a few clips.
Oh, let's.
Okay. I want us to watch a few clips because I just think we're not going to be able to have a productive conversation about this if we're not top, if it's not top of mind.
Yeah.
Now, I've been saving clips specifically
Oh my
so
God,
that we can
hilarious.
have this conversation. I have so many clips saved. I'm not going to make us watch all of them. We'd be here all night. I'm just going to pick a few.
People were saying that there wasn't a big crowd in the stands. Is that true?
I thought the crowd looked big.
Okay.
I thought it.
And then I also heard ticket sales weren't doing good. And I'm like, how does everybody know that? Is that fake?
Now that I did hear, and I think you can. The thing is, you can tell that by just going to Ticketmaster because you can see how many seats are left.
Okay,
you know?
yeah, I didn't even think about that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that I do think is true. She's not at like max capacity, but it's not like J-Lo bad.
Okay, right.
It's not like J-Lo bad.
Poor J-Lo.
I mean, just truthfully, it's not that bad now.
Poor J-Lo.
Yeah. Like to me, I saw someone who looked up last minute tickets to try and see her in New York City. And while there were, I would say maybe she was at like 70% sold through.
Okay. How much were tickets? Were tickets expensive?
Yeah, because last minute it was like $400.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's too much.
With 30%, right, with 30% of tickets left.
No. A couple interviews I saw of her, she just is like, it's like, girl, did you take mushrooms before the spaceship? She's like in another dimension.
Some of the things she says, it does give like, very spaced.
Yeah, like I don't want to accuse her of anything, but she seems spaced out.
Yeah.
Pun intended.
All right, so this is clip 1. She is performing E.T.
Okay.
So after we watch it, you'll need to describe for our listeners what we saw.
Okay. What was that? What was that? Oh my gosh. Okay, wait, those creatures that were dancing around. Okay, so first what we saw was I don't even know if I'm going to do a good job describing it truly. Okay.
You got to try. You got to try to describe it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't know. She's dressed in like a futuristic outfit and she's got like a gladiator like cane type thing, like if you know that show Gladiator from back in the day. Okay, but it's a giant like glow stick.
Giant lightsaber glow stick.
Yeah. Yes. And she's using it like a gladiator like weapon.
Yes.
To I guess fight aliens. I think they're aliens. Okay.
Yeah.
But they kind of look like those creatures that walk around Universal Studios when they do Halloween on all fours.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And I thought they were like space ninjas. So
okay, or that's a good way to describe it too. But then what really threw me for a loop was that thing at the end. It was like an alien brought this big tube out and tried to suck her into it.
Yeah.
What the hell was that?
Yeah. It was like I couldn't tell, was it like, is this a space worm or is this a tube trying to suck her into another like
it looked like an
portal?
HVAC tube.
Yeah, it did. It was giving HVAC. Absolutely. It was.
It's giving we went to Home Depot before the tour.
It was. And the thing that I think we also have to describe and try and put into words, and I think we'll see this in a couple other clips, is the look on her face. This is what, to me, defeated. She looks multiple things. She looks defeated. She looks lost.
Yeah.
She looks exhausted.
I was gonna say exhausted. Yeah, she looks so tired.
This is night 1 of the tour, by the way.
No.
This is night 1, opening night.
Okay.
So I don't know how you can already be exhausted. We haven't been at it long enough.
No.
We have not. The adrenaline alone should have you hype as hell. Okay?
Right? And we already know Taylor's running on the treadmill while singing the tracks. Like, that's what you should have done to prep for this.
So she looks almost scared to me.
Mhm.
Like almost scared. And
Yeah.
this is what has been why I needed to talk about this, because I'm like, what is happening that is making you feel on night 1 of your tour scared, exhausted, defeated, and lost?
Yeah. I'm wondering if she didn't realize how hard it was going to be. And well, this is what her facial expression is giving, in my opinion, is that maybe she didn't realize how hard it was really truly going to be to get up there and like do this whole entire thing. And halfway through it, she's like, how the hell am I going to be able to sustain this for the rest of the tour? Because I'm freaking exhausted right now. That's what the facial expressions were giving.
I can totally see that. See that. And for me, I feel like what I'm interpreting, and obviously we don't know, we're speculating.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is what it is giving to me, is it almost feel like she was given too much to try and do.
Yeah.
You know, like between the
why are we fighting aliens?
Yeah, all of the screens, all of the special effects, all of the costumes, because most of the costumes that I've seen her in seem kind of like big and a little cumbersome she's trying to do so many moves. It just almost feels like too much.
Yeah, like when Taylor was doing the Eras tour, like the dancers did a lot of the heavy lifting, right? She's like walking and she's moving in different spots and whatever, but they're like moving things around. Yeah, there was not a lot of like battling aliens.
Well, no, you're right about that. There was not a lot of battling aliens. Let's watch another clip. And this one,
I can't believe it.
She is performing Teenage Dream.
Okay, I'm excited. I like that song.
Yeah.
Okay, shit. This one made me feel bad.
Yeah, that one was very hard to watch. So what did we witness there?
Okay. She's walking around the stage a lot. I saw a backup dancer like pull her into her spot because she missed her spot in the one first beginning part of the clip. And I wasn't sure at that moment when he pulled her hips back if she almost fell off the stage or if she just wasn't like on her mark. So he was like pulling her back. So there was that. And then, not to be critical because I'm not a dancer, so I don't like want to be like a bitch about it, but like we're not hitting like the moves. Like the moves are very like lackadaisical. Like we're not like fully hitting the mark on the moves.
Yeah.
So it's like we're dancing in our living room. And to me, after watching that, I'm like, oh girl, are you just like you didn't get to practice enough? Like you're tired, you're a mom, you're like you didn't get to practice that. And I get that, but then like we shouldn't be doing tour. Like we should postpone.
Yeah. That sums it up. And I will say I've seen
I almost spit my water out. It sums it up. That one was worse than the first one.
I agree. And honestly, every clip I watch is harder than the last to watch because
I feel bad.
It feels like, again, like she was either given too much or not enough time, or she didn't understand the directions, but then it was go time. She didn't have enough time to ask questions. Like you said,
we are unprepared.
nothing is being hit, and every moment it's like she's looking around wondering like, oh, do I go here? Like that moment where
Yeah.
you mentioned where the dancer pulls her back, I
Yeah.
couldn't tell, was this supposed to be like a cute little fun moment where like she runs ahead and he runs and grabs her,
Oh,
like it's
okay.
fun like that,
It didn't hit
or
if that's what it was supposed to
did
be.
she miss her mark? And you can't
Mm,
tell because it doesn't look
mhm.
intentional.
Right.
And very little of the movements she's making do look intentional. Like
Mhm.
even in that beginning part, I don't know if you could tell, they were all by some bars. I don't know, like some uneven
Yeah,
bars.
that part
I
was
don't really
confusing
know.
me too.
Yeah, I don't really know what was happening. And then
Mhm.
she climbs under one and comes out. And
Yeah.
that looked so haphazard. I was like, was she
Yeah.
supposed to do something else and she forgot? So now she's climbing under this bar?
Yeah,
Or
that part
was
confused me too. I'm like, "Where even is she?" I, like, couldn't find her.
Yeah. it was it was the whole thing. She just looks again like a little bit lost, a little bit scared, a little bit
Mhm.
confused.
Yeah. The thing with the
And
locking of the arms,
oh
that
yeah.
and the that all looked weird too.
Yeah,
And then she
it
just kinda,
because
like, paces around them?
mhm.
I don't know.
It
It looked like we're making it up
it's
as we go along.
it looks like, I saw someone say this in the comments, and again, people were being rude in the comments, but they were
Yeah.
not necessarily being untruthful. I saw someone say it looks like tech rehearsal 6 weeks out from show.
No, that's what I was about to say. It looks like dress rehearsal. We're
Yeah.
like, we're not gonna go as hard because day of show, we are
Yeah.
gonna use all our exertion, right? But, like,
Yeah.
right now, we're just gonna 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
You know?
But to me, the 6 weeks out from show is poignant because it doesn't give dress rehearsal like night before dress rehearsal.
No,
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 no, no, no, no.
no.
It gives like, oh, we've got time.
Yeah.
So this is my first time on the stage. So I'm kind of marking it. I'm just getting my bearings. 6 weeks from
Oh
now, I'm
my
going to hit
gosh.
it.
Oh, no. Oh,
So
something
for
about
this,
me is, my aunt was a Rockette, and so I did dancing school, like, until, like, 6th grade, and I was
mhm,
not a great dancer. That was dress rehearsal with the little kids.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I don't
It,
like it.
Yeah, it is. It has been so hard to watch, but I can't not watch. I've watched every single clip in full multiple times that has come across my FYP. I can't not watch it
It's a
because
train wreck.
my brain is like, what is happening? It's like my brain is trying to compute what's happening, so I have
No.
to keep
I can
watching.
only imagine that comment section.
Oh, it is brutal. It
Because
is brutal in there. Okay,
oh,
absolutely
I
brutal.
feel horrible for her.
We're gonna watch one more. And this one, actually, it is not a clip of the show. This is an interview.
Okay.
Because let me
About the
ask you
show?
before, yeah, let me
Mhm.
ask you before we watch this interview.
Mhm.
What do you think
Mhm.
the theme of the show is?
Oh, shit.
Just based
Um,
on what you've seen.
Supernatural?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I could buy that.
Space? I'm hesitant to say space and astronauts.
Space. I mean, a little bit of space, yes.
Yeah, okay.
And let me, and since we're not going to watch more of the clips that I've seen, I'll just give you some more of the visuals.
Mhm.
So of course we had the first visual where she's fighting the aliens or space ninjas, we're not sure. And
Okay.
they bring out they bring out
Not sure.
the evil worm HVAC. Okay, that's one visual. Then we have this visual we just watched for Teenage Dream where they start on the uneven bars and then they kind of like march around like the Munchkins of Oz. That's
Mhm.
what it sort of gave to me, those
Yeah, yeah.
costumes. It was kind of
Mhm.
Munchkins of Oz. Okay,
Yeah.
so then we had that visual. Then we had a visual. There's one where she's singing I Kissed a Girl
Mhm.
and she's in like a circular contraption and
Mm.
she's kind of like climbing through the bars if I recall correctly.
Mhm.
Then there's the visual that you mentioned you saw
With
where
the
she's
spinning.
the spitting in the air, so it's kind of like an aerial, kind of like almost a Cirque du Soleil sort of
Mhm.
thing. So have all those visuals in mind. Based on that, what would you say the theme is? Because what I'll tell you is, to me, I'm like, the theme could literally be anything. I have
Yeah,
no clue.
circus?
It could be circus, it could
Mm.
be space, it could be, otherworldly strip club. It could be like
Yeah.
like it could be Wizard of Oz, but like a
Yeah.
Wizard of Oz in space. It could be.
I don't it's not giving Lifetime tour, Eras tour type vibe. It's not.
It's not, and that's
Mm.
also what's confusing to me is the tour's already called Lifetimes. So
Right.
again, this is something I feel she could have learned from Taylor.
Yeah. To
If the
keep a
tour's already
cohesive theme.
called Lifetimes, let's go with a Lifetime theme.
Yeah.
Maybe in between each of the little vignettes, you're putting up a picture of you from another age of life. Maybe you start with your childhood, then it goes
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
teenage years, and we hear Teenage Dream. Then it goes
Mm-hmm.
into whenever you like got married, and it's a bunch of love songs. Maybe then it goes into your divorce, and it's a bunch of hate songs. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Something, but there's got to be like a timeline.
A timeline, because
Yeah.
these are lifetimes.
Right.
Okay, well, with all that in mind,
I'm
now let's listen
so
to
fucking scared to hear what she said the theme is. Oh my god! I feel like it's gonna be like bakery or something.
Girl,
All right.
let me
I'm not
just-
ready.
Yeah.
I pick a few super deep cuts from each album.
Oh, I love it.
In this video game show, there are levels and there are goals, and I have to collect hearts in order to use that to power up to defeat the mainframe, the evil forces. I actually have a section, it's like level 3.5, where it's a bonus section. I've collected enough hearts, and I get to now choose my own adventure. I get to revisit a past timeline, and I pick a few super deep cuts from each album.
Oh, I love it.
And I throw them up there and I let the fans vote.
Oh,
so they're literally pulling out their phones, doing a QR code.
In the moment.
In the moment. And the power is in their hands.
So it's a video game. All that to say, it's a video game, Erica. And
it should have been called Katie's World. Okay.
Yes. Or Game On. Then
it could have been called anything but what it was called.
Then I would understand. Oh, it's a game. It's a video game, and the audience is helping to play the game, and there are level ups, and she's collecting hearts. I mean, all of that sounds complicated to me, but I believe you could pull it off. But that 100% does not make sense to me if we're calling it the Lifetime store.
Okay. Who set this tour up and organized it? Because I've never been to a concert that has so much going on, and there's too much going on.
There's too much going on.
We're voting.
We're voting. Now it's American Idol as well.
I didn't even think about that. She was on that show, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No,
once I heard her explain it, I feel like then I was like, oh yeah, I think she is just overwhelmed. This just does sound like
I'm overwhelmed.
Too much to ask of someone.
Yeah.
To be trying to do all of that in this tour while giving a career retrospective of every disc
you can't do both. You either have to be doing like an Eras tour style for Lifetime tour, or you have to be doing the video game tour. They can't be the same. They can't be the same thing.
Trying to do both is, I genuinely think it's overwhelming her. That's what it looks like.
It definitely is.
She looks overwhelmed.
Collecting hearts, that shouldn't be part of it.
No,
it's too much.
And my thing is like, is it explained? Because
right, that's what I'm wondering.
All those people who are putting up videos, I haven't seen not one of them explain it. So I don't know that anyone in her show understood that is what was happening.
Yes, okay, I was wondering that too.
Yeah, because this is the only explanation I've seen is from her, and I feel like if you were in the audience and that was clear to you, maybe you would have communicated that.
Like I'm wondering in the beginning, is there like a reel that plays that's explaining like you're about to embark into a video game? Like, buckle up, you're player one.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Let's hope so.
But I haven't seen a video of that yet.
I haven't either.
This is the first I've ever heard about it being a video game.
Yeah. Same. And I will say it only kind of made it make more sense. It didn't definitely make it make more sense. I was like, okay, well, I guess now I understand the concept, but still when I think back to all these visuals, like the twirling ball where she was like kind of like stripping in the center, or like the munchkins from Oz, like I only kind of understand.
The dance where I said she's not hitting the marks, that's not giving, none of that's giving video game.
No. And if you go and watch I Kissed a Girl, no, not giving video game at all.
I'm so lost.
Yeah, it's confusing. It definitely to me
confusing.
Feels like we could have taken from eras as opposed to everyone saying like, oh, it looks like budget eras. It actually to me doesn't look like budget eras.
No,
these two tours don't look
the same at all.
They're not really giving the same at all. Like
no, totally different vibe.
I actually think it'd be better if they were giving more of the same energy.
Right. Like I want it to be more of a copy, actually. Like I want her in between all the songs to be explaining what's going on, like Taylor was.
Yeah, and I
Right?
want it to be cohesive. And if you're promising Lifetimes, like to me, when she announced Lifetime's tour, I thought to myself, okay, that is smart. Because unlike J-Lo, and I'm not trying to hate on J-Lo, but I'm just saying when she announced her tour, her album obviously didn't do well. And then the tour was named after the album that didn't do well.
Correct. Yeah.
And so then she couldn't sell tickets because no one listened to your album.
Right.
And I thought, okay, Katy is doing it right. She named it Life. She didn't name it 143 Tour because that album did not do well.
Right. Yeah.
She named it Lifetime's Tour. And I think gave everyone the impression this is going to be kind of a career retrospective. And she's had plenty of hits. So like that could be very, very fun. So that's what I thought she was going to give. But this isn't necessarily giving that because we're all over the map.
Yeah. I thought we were going to go album by album with the best hits from each one. So I'm a little disappointed on that. Also, it's like, why does she keep saying deep cuts? Like, what the hits? Is that what she means by deep cuts?
No, she means she means like the songs that are not the hits.
Oh.
Yeah. So like the ones you would only know if you were a fan, you know.
I feel like that's not a great idea either. Like, like I feel like if I don't want to pile on and be a bitch, but like, well, nobody's coming to hear the songs nobody fucking knows. Like,
oh my god. Well,
what?
but she's assuming. I mean, it's the same way now. Taylor did sing every single song in her catalog during her surprise songs. A lot of those are deep cuts, but she does it because these are your fans, and so the assumption is like your fans know these songs.
But she did it in a fun way. She was like mashing shit up. They're like, it's a way you've never heard it before because it's acoustic, or like there was like something different about everything to like re-fall in love with it.
Well, I think that's what the vibe is here. To me, that sounded like the funnest part. Like if I were someone who listened to all of her albums and not just the one album that I loved. Yeah. If I were someone who listened to all of her albums and loved them all, I'd be like, oh, that seems fun to me. Yeah. Like I want to vote. I want to see what the crowd votes for.
Right. The voting thing I feel like could be a cool aspect. Just the way she explained it sounded confusing and not coherent.
See, and it just seemed like another thing that made the whole thing a little confusing. It's like if it were it just because so much is going on.
Yeah.
But I could see if I were like a staunch fan and I knew her deep cuts, that being an exciting moment. It just, all of it when taken together.
I'd be curious to see how each song transitions too, like when she changes and stuff. Yeah. Because each song is so starkly different.
Yeah.
Like scenery wise.
I agree. I don't know. And I haven't seen anyone post any transition. So that leads me to believe
there isn't any.
Maybe the transitions aren't it. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to have to watch more vids against my will.
Well, and I'm going to be watching more vids, because I can't stop watching.
No,
I really can't stop watching. Yeah. But I will just say again, because I'm not trying to suggest that like Katy Perry is bad.
No.
Or like she needs to do what Taylor's doing. It's more like we've seen enough tours, and I wouldn't just say eras. I would say Renaissance. I would say Beyonce's Homecoming. I would say we have seen people do career retrospectives in a way that is very compelling and with very unified themes. Like I think Beyonce's Homecoming, honestly, for me was even more compelling than Eras. And that's saying a lot because Eras is obviously an amazing tour. But to me, the like unified theme of a Black homecoming and doing that at Coachella and the way she pulled it off with the marching band, it was so cohesive, and she played songs from every single one of her eras. So we've watched Beyonce do it, we've watched Taylor do it, we know what it looks like when done. And so I think Katy could have pulled from either one of these artists and given us something a little bit more cohesive and a little bit more compelling, and not as overstuffed. It's not as if it's not that she needs more. I feel like she tried to achieve it with more stuff.
Yeah.
Like
I'm kind of like also blaming like the creative people behind this, because it's not just her putting this shit together. And like either if that was her full idea, Like they needed to be like, this is a great idea, but we need to like tone this down so it's not so intense, so it's not so confusing. Like somebody should have been the voice of reason there, or they're just telling her this is what it is and you have to do it. And then I don't like that either.
Yeah. I don't know how much of this was born from her idea or her team, but I agree. It needs a big edit. It needs a big pullback, and it feels like they decided, oh, this is so big. It's called Lifetimes. Like we have to do everything. When in reality, it's like, well, you know what? You're talented enough. Because by the way, the vocals I'm hearing from her, I actually think she sounds quite good.
Yeah, but also it feels like she's struggling to keep singing because she's out of breath.
Exactly. She's tired. She's out of breath. So I'm not getting enough of the vocal. But when I do hear the vocal,
they're
I
great.
think she sounds good.
Better
than I feel like.
Yeah.
I feel like she's worked on it, because I used to listen to her live performances and be a little bit like, and I think she's improved, and I think she's worked on it. So it's like, let that be what shines through. People want to hear you sing. Like,
and she's a good performer. Like she does the whole costume thing. She has like a certain look and thing that she does when she performs, and it's her thing. It's cool, but like there's too much going on here, and you could tell it's wearing her out.
Yeah, it's wearing her out. It's overwhelming her, and I don't know if there's time to edit at this point. Like the tour is the tour.
Too late, right?
So it might be too late, but really and truly, I hope, if not for this tour, then for whatever her next tour is, she really does just take a look at the things that we have seen work. I think she could give us a very compelling tour of her music, of her lifetimes, of her albums. Like, I think she really could, but it can't be so overwrought. And I think in general, she could learn from Taylor, and for whatever her next album is, being more introspective, being more vulnerable, giving us a realer picture into what her life looks like, or what it looks like over the last 10 years. Like, it just sort of feels like we don't get authenticity. Like that's what it feels like.
Yeah, that is what it feels like.
We're missing.
Yeah. And Taylor Swift could learn to have aliens suck her into an HVAC tube. Wait, I wasn't prepared because people were really hating on this, and I was like, oh, they're just being, like I was like, it's siding with her a little bit. I'm like, they're just being a little bit too harsh on her. And then I saw those clips you just showed, and I'm like,
yeah. I mean, I do think people are being overly mean,
for sure,
right? But they're not wrong. It is very much giving. She's not quite ready.
She's not,
and the tour is overwhelming her. And some of it, I think, to be fair, like night 1 for any artist is going to look different than like night 30.
Oh yeah, of course.
We all saw that with Beyonce and Taylor.
Yeah.
Like, but this is not giving, oh, I'm nervous, a little bit of jitters. It's giving like,
I didn't prep.
I'm not prepared. I'm not ready for this.
Yeah.
This is too much for me. That's what it's currently giving.
Oh, I hate that for her.
I do too. And I want more from her. I really do. I mean, I feel like this is exactly where we ended the last episode about Katy Perry.
Yeah, like, I know.
We want more. Like, she has the talent. Like, we want to see her thrive. And I still do. I still do want to see her thrive.
Yeah. I hope she takes maybe like a short break after this tour and regroups.
And comes back better.
Right. But she's an astronaut, so I don't know. It's like she might just go to space after this. I'm not sure.
She might.
That's it for this week, everyone. Be sure to follow us on TikTok at 2 Queens, 2 Crowns, and to check out the podcast on YouTube, 2 Queens, 2 Crowns.
Erica and I would also love for you to follow us on our personal socials. I'm on TikTok at @Iam_KJ Miller and YouTube with the handle IamKJ Miller. And Erica's on IG at LetABeKnow and TikTok at LetABitchKnow. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Okay. Hello and welcome to 2 Queens. Is that what I say? To 2 Queens, 2 Crowns. Hello and welcome.
I think so.
I was like, do you remember?
I think that's our name.
Do I remember? Is that what I say? I think that's what I say.
Our hiatus was too long.
It was too long. Now I'm like, wait, what do I say? I'm actually literally going to check because that sounded weird when I said it.
It's a woman's world and we're lucky to be living in it. such a missed opportunity. You're in a spaceship with a bunch of women and you don't sing that?
Yeah.
Please.